Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. So excited to have you here. Today we are talking about one of my favorite subjects, and that's budgeting. And some of you right now, your eyes are probably glazing over and you're probably wanting to jump into no budgeting land, never to return, while others of you could be potentially jumping for joy and saying, finally we get to talk about the budget. Well, whichever side you are on, I'm really hoping that the Everydollar budgeting app through the Dave Ramsey program will be a helpful resource to you. It's something that's really helped me and my hubby get on the same page because we are opposites when it comes to money and budgeting and all of that. So without further ado, let's dive in and take a tour. Taking you behind the computer, and we're going to dive into the logistics and the details of the Everydollar app. So we're going to do, just Google Everydollar Dave Ramsey, and it will take you to this page where you can sign up for free right here, and you just put in your email, name, etc., verify it, and then once you get there, then it's going to bring you to this page about to change your life, and millions of people, how it's helped them. So let's continue here, and it's just welcoming us and continuing here. And once again, you can choose all that will apply. For right now, we're just going to skip that step. And here we are. We're going to create an April budget. And you may have noticed up here it says try Ramsey Plus for free. And maybe you're wondering what's the difference. I do highly recommend Ramsey Plus, and we'll just go ahead and click on that, and it'll just tell you right here everything that you are going to be getting. So the biggest thing you'll be getting, of course, is the financial peace course, and you do have access to that indefinitely. And then the other thing is, if you are tracking with the Financial Peace University course and the whole Dave Ramsey baby steps system, then this will be tremendously helpful for you, especially if you are wanting that motivation for getting out of debt, which we all, I think, want to be debt free. And then the final thing, which I think is definitely worth mentioning up here, with the Ramsey Plus, with it, you can link it directly to your bank, and it's going to actually bring all of those transactions in directly for you rather than you having to manually do it. So just something to consider. You do get it free for 15 days, and then after that it is $129.99 a year. So I think I calculated it up to be around $10.75 a month. I personally think it's so worth it. My husband and I have already pretty much pledged that we are going to go ahead and probably just do this until the day we die, just because we really do love it. Let's go back to here, and I am going to quickly just highlight these things here on the side. Insights, this is going to give you an understanding just where your money is really going. If you want to see right here, biggest spending categories, what's happening with your money, where your income is, and all of that, then take a peek at that. These are the baby steps that we're talking about. And if you have Ramsey Plus, it's going to look a little bit different, and it'll actually show you your progress on every single step. So really, really motivating. But here you have all of them, and I'll be making a video, like I mentioned, next week talking about Dave Ramsey, his program, and what he recommends if you want to become what they call an everyday millionaire. And then Ramsey Pros, this is if you ever just need some help in your corner on any of these services. Then he's got some great trusted providers. Of course, when it comes to people, you just want to know that they're going to be honest and actually really look out for you. So I definitely would recommend going through here if you are wanting to get a very well, thoroughly vetted person. And with that, let's dive in here into the budget. So we're going to create an April budget. And for your first budget, you do have to put in all the information. But the beautiful thing is, once you've made it, next month it's going to have May rolling around, and you're just going to be able to say, copy last month's budget, and it's going to bring everything over. So that's the beautiful thing. You don't have to do this every single time. And another thing with the Dave Ramsey program is they believe in creating what's called a zero-based budget, meaning every dollar that's coming in, every one of them has to go into a category. There's no money that's floating around uncategorized or not being utilized for something. So let's dive in here, and you'll be able to see how it works very, very quickly here. So let's just say for paycheck 1, we're going to have 2,000 there, and then paycheck 2, we'll just keep this super simple for today, $2,000 here. Now, of course, I can already hear some people saying, what if my income is unstable? With that, it's typically recommended that you are going to be anticipating having a lower income, meaning that you're going to average some of your lowest paychecks. And so you're planning to live off the lower amount that you could possibly be making. And then with that, as you do get more money, as you'll be able to see, it's very easy to adjust these categories. So if you do get, say, maybe $100, $200 more than you thought you were going to be getting, then you can just go ahead and add $200 or whatever into a category. So it's very easy to change, and that is what I love about this budget. And that's what I actually do with our particular paychecks, because one of us has a stable one of us does not. And so when we do get that final paycheck the last week, I'll just go ahead and balance everything out, and you'll see from there. So here you can see they have already gone ahead and pretty much categorized everything into what they would be expecting you to have. And if there's anything you need to delete, you just go on here, you click here, and you can delete that category. So that makes it super simple. Also, with these little dots, you can use them to drag them into different categories. You can even drag full categories. So that is something that's really, really helpful to do. So let's just go ahead and say, we want to give $100, say, to charity this month. So we'll just leave that right there. And as you can see, as you enter categories into here, it's going to adjust the amount you have left to budget. And the goal is to bring this down to zero. Once again, that is your zero-based budget. So first step, you'll see what an emergency fund, what's that for? The first step of the Dave Ramsey plan, the baby step, is to make $1,000 emergency fund. And if you see, because this is a fund, and you can actually do this even with a vacation fund, so let's go ahead and make that right here. You can go ahead and make this a fund. And with that, basically, you can have a starting balance, and it's going to carry that balance over to every month. So if you put 200 into here, when April rolls around, you're going to see 200 in there, and it'll just basically count it up for you. And you can even have goals and all of that. So that can be tremendously helpful, and you'll see you'll get that little piggy bank. So let's go ahead and budget everything. And of course, if there's anything here that does not apply to you, just delete that category, or maybe, you can label it something different. So I'm just going ahead and kind of doing a rough one. Let's just say for this, you've got, I don't know, $8.75. Water, we'll do maybe about $40. And as you can see up here, it's starting to go down. Here, let's just do, and I'm just doing rough guesstimates. This will just be something that you can kind of, sometimes it's nice just to watch somebody do it. And of course, if there's any questions that people have, go ahead and put this into the comments. So for gas money this month, maybe $75. Maintenance, this you could make into a fund just so you have something there. I think I might actually do that, make this a fund. So we're starting off with zero, so we're going to plan to maybe put like $100 in there, just so whenever we do have things that come up, then we'll have the money we know there. Groceries, one thing that my husband and I do that I do really find to be really helpful is we actually allocate it by week. And this is really helpful just because of the way the pay system works in our family. But also, if you are using the cash system and you don't want to have the cash wallet system where you're trying to use cash for, eating out, groceries, things like that, then it can be really helpful just to know, okay, this is how much I need, say, on Saturday to get for this upcoming week of groceries, rather than having to go ahead and, take out the full amount. So here we go. We just add an item. We're going to do groceries week 2. And then also it does make it, if you have, 5 weeks or whatever, I don't know, it just holds me accountable. I need all of the help that I can get with making sure that I'm staying on track. So that's why I really like the concept of doing this. And of course, eating out is kind of its own little category. So let's just go ahead and put, say, like 125. Oops. In each of these categories. So as you can see, once again up here, everything is going down. So it's really easy to watch and say, I'll show you once again what would happen if there was something unexpected that you weren't anticipating. And then for this, we'll do $75. All right, clothing, phone, fun money, hair and cosmetics. We don't really have too many subscriptions in our family. This is something, if you are trying to get out of debt, I definitely recommend taking a peek at that. Hair and cosmetics, I guess this could be whatever. Let's see. Let's do 25 there. Fun money. Sometimes my husband and I, when we consider like going out to restaurants, are fun money. So, but we'll put something in there. Phone. This is a little tip. We actually were able to, because we have our internet through Xfinity, we're actually able to get really low discount on our phones, but they use the Verizon cell tower. So we're basically getting Verizon phone for the price of, just being able to have the Verizon service. So that's something amazing. I think I would make this a fund as well, just because I don't spend money on clothing every month, but that is something very nice there. And then of course you can go through everything. Pet care, I'm going to delete that because we don't have that. We don't have any children yet either. Entertainment, you can do movies and stuff. Like I said, we've kind of already counted. Miscellaneous, maybe you're like, why would I have miscellaneous? Because I'm already accounting for everything. Yes, we always try our best, but we all know that there's going to be that time when something unexpected comes up. And trust me, this category can sometimes grow to be your biggest if you're not. Once you get better at budgeting, this will probably become smaller and smaller. But for those first 3 months, you really are trying to get into the groove of learning how to do a budget, how to really follow one, and just sometimes just even knowing like how much you're spending on different categories until you actually write it down and really see it. It can be a little hard. So for the first 3 months, give yourself grace to ease into it. So I'm going to delete this because I'm not planning on any of these. But in an insurance, let's say life insurance, I'll be talking about that probably a little bit on the baby steps on different types of life insurance. Let's say for this, I think, I'm just guessing here on some of these health insurance. Let's just do $200 there. All right. And then last, everyone's favorite part. I'm just kidding. But this is the part, if you are trying to get out of debt, this is really where I do recommend the Ramsey Plus, because this is where you're going to be able to put all of your debt. So we'll say you've got $1,000 on that credit card. Say you've got 15,000. I don't think you can. No, you can't put it in here. Maybe I'll show you on another one where you would be able to do that. But once you would go to the baby steps, it would actually list out all of your debts. And as you pay them off, you can see kind of the snowball fill up with all of the debt that you paid off. So really, really motivating. So this, it doesn't show like the entire amount. Oh, right here. So here's the debt snowball. Yes, that they're talking about that you would be able to use with Financial Peace. So highly, highly recommend that. But as you can see, we still have $345 left to budget, doing good. And if you are working on that Dave Ramsey plan, you are going to want to throw that towards here, because your first step is to get that $1,000 emergency fund, a little bit of buffer to help you not use your credit cards as an emergency fund, but actually have real cash in the bank waiting for you. So that is going to be the general overview of everything here. Go into the final portion of this where we walk through being able to track your transactions and watch your budget come to life. And so up here, the accounts is where you'll be able to link your bank account. And then here, you're going to see the amount of transactions that you still have to allocate into the appropriate categories. And then here you have them where they're categorized. New ones, those are ones that have yet to be categorized. Tracked are the ones that have been taken care of already. Deleted are the ones that maybe could be duplicates, or you just have to adjust something. Something I did want to mention is I have noticed that there have been duplicates of some transactions, whether it be income or expenses. And so that is something as a heads up just to be careful about. If you maybe something seems a little bit off or whatever, I've noticed that, I would have like the transactions come through, I would track them, and then I would get a bunch more, but they would actually be the same ones that I had already tracked. So just a heads up, no budgeting tool is perfect, but that is something I have noticed about this one. So for this one right now, because we don't have the Ramsey Plus, we're just going to go ahead and add a new one. And if you want to use the free version of this, this is what you would be doing. So you could say for income, we're going to go ahead and say we got paid, $500 from, I'm just going to say work or employer. And then from here, you're able to go ahead and choose your appropriate budget category. So let's go ahead and track income. I'm going to say no thanks to that. And right here, you can see the green line. That is going to tell you how much of that has come in, or whether it be an expense, how much has been. Go ahead and track an expense. So let's say $25 at the grocery store. And this is where I love having the different weeks. So we'll just do it into week 1 and track expense. And as you can see, if we go down into the groceries, there it will tell you what's planned and what's remaining. And I love this because you can even see what's been spent. So sometimes it can be helpful to switch
between those two categories. It would look like if you already had your account linked up. So like I mentioned here, this shows you have 5 transactions yet to be taken care of. We already have seen that these have been tracked, and for whatever reason, if you need to edit or delete them, you can work there, and then these would be your deleted. So now say, let's start with the easy one, the rent. You can just go ahead and drag and drop, and there you go. You know that you have no more money to pay on rent. Olive Garden, that would go towards restaurants. And then gas, so you can see how easy it is to go ahead and just take a peek at this. And now for clothes. Oh boy, so now you can see that we have gone over what we had planned for this. So I'll show you how I would usually correct that if I was budgeting in just a moment. But now we're going to talk about this ATM transaction. This I actually want to split because I'm using that for two things, or for several things here. So the first thing, part of that was going to go to our charity here. And then the other thing, we are going to have it go towards, let's just say, maintenance. So there you go. And then you would say, $100 in this, and then it'll right away tell you how much you have left, and then 100. Now you know, oops, that did not quite process. There we go. Now you know that everything is good. Then you track this expense, and if you go to the charity and to the other category, you can see that it was taken care of. Now, say for here, because we actually spent $35, if you here you can see how much was spent. Well, if we go $35 here, up here, you're going to be able to see it says $10 over budget. So now you have to go ahead and maybe adjust another category. So for me, let's see, is there anything that I can drop? Well, we've already spent some money on eating out, so I can maybe say drop this, $65. Now we are back to a zero-based Everydollar budget, hence the name of this app. And I did want to mention this is the desktop version. I personally love this one the most, but there is also an app that you can sync the two, so when you're on the go, you can track transactions as well. I wanted to mention, when it comes to creating next month, here you can go ahead and see all the months. Let's go ahead, because May is right around the corner. We're going to go ahead and remember how I said they're going to copy it for you. It makes it so much easier. So here you go, you click on it, and then right away you're right here back to where you started. And so you can just adjust any categories. And like we said, when it comes to your finances, of course the goal is to become financially stable and also hopefully debt free. And so just remembering with the baby steps, once you have your $1,000 emergency fund set up, then you're going to go ahead and pay off all debt using the debt snowball. Like I said, if you actually want a visual way to be able to see it and watch it go down, you can actually go ahead and get that Ramsey Plus, and it's going to track it for you, or you can just do it the good old-fashioned way with a pen and paper and draw something for you, and then from there, saving expenses. But the goal is just always remembering with the budget, especially if you have debt, having debt is going to take up your money and your budget every month. Think, if you did not have this credit card at all to worry about, look, you would have $1,000 extra. Think you could go on a vacation, you could put it into retirement, you could do so many different things with it. And so that's the power of having a budget. That's the power of being out of debt, and that's the power of knowing where your money is going. Before Ben and I did this, it was just like money was going out, it was coming in, there was just we didn't really know what was happening. And so the final thing I wanted to mention, then, this is also really helpful to see if you're overspending on any categories, because that is something they recommend when it comes to having that house payment, your mortgage. They do recommend for that to be around 25%. So that way you're not feeling the pressure too much should times get tough. And so that is something that is recommended. So I do find this also here on the side to be just tremendously helpful with all of that. So that should wrap it up here.
So I hope you found that walkthrough really helpful, and it will hopefully be a resource to you wherever you're at. And like I said, if you have any questions, definitely feel free to drop them in the comments below, and I would be more than happy to answer them. Next week, we're going to dive a little bit more into the 7 baby steps of the Dave Ramsey plan, in case you were curious about what they were. And then I would encourage you also to watch last week's video about 5 reasons why I believe it's important to be intentional with money. So until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday. As always, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for so much for supporting the channel, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye!